Start recording. Hello. Three more minutes and we'll get started. 15 views, 14. It's okay. So what we're going to talk about, everybody, we're going to talk about social media phishing scams, what exactly they are, how they apply to you. We're not going to dig too deep into it, but we're going to talk about it, and you're going to learn how it could potentially lead into human trafficking. But one of the things I definitely want to do is give you an example, something that happens to me constantly, but luckily I'm able to identify it before it becomes something. So I will show you that example. We'll talk a little bit about it, how I identified what was what, and how I knew it was a phishing scam, pretty much. I know it's been a long time, everybody. It's it's been hectic. We've been really busy. I personally have been having some health issues, but getting past that, and we're going to move forward. Hopefully, move forward really strong. Couple more minutes. If you haven't already, go ahead and share this. If you're very big on social media, go ahead and make sure you pay attention, because this can affect you. If you have people that you follow on social media that you're a fan of, definitely pay attention. If you want to share this with anybody, let us know, and or don't let us know, just do it. Share it. Hello, Angela. To tax time. Yes, I agree. Heather, you're absolutely right. This is very important, especially with everybody getting their stimulus checks and taxes back, if you even get them. But you're definitely right about that. People are going to be trying extra hard to get that hard-earned money. So I'm also going to make an attempt. We're actually going to officially start now, but I'm going to attempt to share my screen when it's time to show the example of a phishing scam. But I'm not sure how it's going to work, because I've never had to do. I've done it on Zoom before, but I've never done it on Facebook Live. So we'll see how this works. If it doesn't, I'll make do and describe it the best I can. All right, so we got a decent amount of people, not as much as I'd like, but let's go ahead and start. For those of you who do not know me, and of course, sorry about that, but for those of you who do not know me, my name is Chris. I'm the director of the Human Trafficking Response Team, and today we will be talking about social media and phishing scams. And a lot of people are going to be kind of shocked, because it is kind of what you don't think it is. It's stuff you use on a daily basis on social media, and you think it's a game, or you think it's something fun to do, which in some cases it might be. But there's a lot of times where people are trying to gain information from you when you're playing these games. Give me one sec, I'm sorry. Okay, so one of these games I'm talking about, it's kind of these little fun things where you get on your social media and you type in information, and you're telling stuff about you. And when you're telling stuff about you, you're talking about you know, the end game is pretty much telling you, hey, this is what your future is going to be like. And, you know, it's something for fun. And or it's going to tell you this is what type of person you are, or whatever the case is. So these games sometimes are actually collecting information. So it's asking you like, hey, where are you from? What type of person? What do you like? And these seem like innocent questions, but if you think about it, you have challenge questions on a lot of things that require passwords, like banks, investments, anything that can require a challenge, like, hey, who was your blah, blah, blah teacher in this grade, which I don't know who knows the answer to that ever. And then you have stuff like, hey, what's your father's middle name, your mother's maiden name, you know, stuff like that. But when you're typing in that information, you don't realize that there's people on the other side who are keeping it. They know who you are now. And if they ever get a chance to have the ability to get into something that you use on a daily basis, like your online banking or whatever, and they get asked those challenge questions, they now know the answer to it. So you really want to be careful with that. It happens all the time. Like, I'm not saying they are going to automatically gain access to whatever you have access to, but it gives them that upper hand. It gets them one step closer to get into what they need to. So next time you get on these little fun apps and you type in the information just to get a little funny outcome out of it, just bear in mind that someone on the other side could be taking your information. If someone's taking your information and you compromise your social media integrity, you compromise your maybe financial integrity, and before you know it, you're having a problem with hacking or scamming. Now, a way to prevent that, I'm not saying don't ever do it. I can't tell you what to do at the end of the day. You're going to do what you want. So one of the things that I do recommend is you be mindful of the type of questions they're asking. So if you pay attention to what you're asked on your challenge questions, and you pay attention to what they're asking you on these games, try not to answer the ones that kind of are similar to what you're being asked, because again, you're giving them the information. And then before you know it, they find a way to get close to you, or maybe gain more information from you, possibly figure out a password. Who knows? The sky's the limit. There's no telling what these scammers, these bad people have capabilities of. They can do just about anything these days. Next, this is where we're going to start getting into an example. So a phishing scam is not just the game where you answer questions, or you get online and type in information. Phishing scams can also be live action, like they are there asking you questions, talking to you, making it sound innocent, making you believe they are someone they are not. This is all too common. So let's say you follow somebody on Instagram, and you're completely fond of that person, you follow them, and all of a sudden you get a message from that person. Now, it helps if their account is verified. If their account is verified, you need to look for that blue check mark. If you're getting a message from an account that's not verified by that same person, and they do have an account that has that check mark, it's a red flag automatically. I'm not saying they can't open up another account, but the likelihood of them doing that when they have such a good social media platform is very slim, unless, of course, something happens to it. So you really want to be careful with that. Just pay attention to who you're following. So let's get into this example. I have a celebrity crush, of course, on the Instagram social media platform. And of course, I'm a private investigator. My job is to pick at what people do, why they do it, figure out the why behind everything, gain as many facts as I can. So I pay attention to people. So unintentionally, I pick up on things about a person when they, aren't really trying to tell me those things. So I don't have permission to really do this, but when I show the example, when I share my screen, y'all are more than welcome to follow her on Instagram. She has like 1.7 million followers. She's an athletic individual. She's definitely doing great things. Every once in a while, when I'm able to get information about how you can improve your health, whether you're a male or female. She helps out both, but she's very athletic, and she has a huge following. So when I show it, you're more than welcome to go follow her on Instagram. I'm sure she won't mind that. Just don't be a creep. So I am sorry, for using this as an example if it somehow gets back to her, but it happens a lot. This is like the 4th time it's happened. Not from her account directly, but people trying to make people think that it is her account. So again, she has that blue check mark, so I automatically, I'm like, hey, that blue check mark's not there, this isn't a real account. So anyways, what happens is the individual reaches out to you. So what happens is you get a follow, and all of a sudden you see this follow and you're like, oh wow, this person followed me. You click on it and they only have like they have no posts. They have maybe 2 followers, and they're following like hundreds of people. Now, this is obviously a new account, which just because you have a new account doesn't automatically make it a red flag. We'll get there. So sometimes people do, in fact, make separate accounts. They either have their social media platform where it's to the public, and then they have a private one. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You just have to, do you know this person? And if you do know this person, what traits do they portray through this other account that you do or do not recognize? So you want to pay really close attention to these things. So so I get this follow, and I'm like, okay, cool. My social media is growing, and I see who it is. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I click on it, it's fake all of a sudden, and I do not follow it back. I'm not going to follow you back. I have a thing where if you follow me and your account kind of looks iffy to me, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for like maybe a couple weeks. And if your account is still there, I will follow it. So I didn't follow it back. I get a message from this account. And when I got this message, it's saying, hey, how are you? How long have you been my fan? And I'm like, why do you care? Out of the 1.7 million people, I'm like, yeah, this isn't you already. But I like to mess with people. So I took it a step further. I'm like, I'm good. How are you? I'm answering, the conversation's going back and forth. And what led me to believe that this was not the person officially is the type of questions that were being asked. Like eventually, like, hey, what kind of car do you drive? That's one of those questions that may come up in a questionnaire or a challenge question, maybe on your bank or whatever the case is. So I answer, I say, well, I technically drive multiple cars. I have to kind of switch depending on what I'm doing for my job, which is not a lie. Sometimes I may have to get a different car, whether it be a rental or borrow someone else's to do a case, whatever the case is, it is what it is. But I didn't specifically say what kind of car I drive. I beat around the bush. So she can't have that information, or the person, not a she, the person on that other side can't have the information. So we're going to go ahead and show like personality traits of the original person. And then we're going to show kind of how the person was talking in the scam, which, oh, by the way, is already closed out. The account is no longer active, is no longer there. So the person, you know, that tried to create the fake account, it's been reported by someone who probably fell for it. So let's go ahead and try and share screen. Okay. This is going to kind of throw me off because I need to be able to see the Zoom, which is right here. All right, cool. So I hope everybody can see this. If you can see it, let me know real quick. If you can't, then let me try and fix it. There's a lag. Actually, I can see it. It just popped up. There we go. Okay, so we're good. So we're going to go ahead and show her profile. This is the official profile. We'll refresh it. She posts constantly. This is my so-called celebrity crush, or social media celebrity. I don't know what they're called. Her name is Quimma, and she's an athlete. She's constantly working out. You know, she maybe gives tips. There's certain individuals she's constantly in videos with. Like, I know her brother's in several of them. There's other, you know, personal trainers, and she has a whole page where you can click on the link and you can, you know, buy different packages to, you know, get certain, you know, workout routines or information to help improve your life. So women, if you're looking for a way to improve your health, go for it. You can type it in, look for that blue check mark. It's very informative. Aside from, you know, being a celebrity crush, this is actually, you know, good information. So let's look at the personality. We see someone, healthcare, LA, entrepreneur. So this person, she owns her own business. That's great. No one's boss, or no one is her boss. There may be contracts where, like, hey, she has to do certain things in order to fulfill that contract, which is fine. But let's see if we can find some comments below. Finally, the leg. All right, so you can see, finally, these leg days paid off. I was clearly stoked about this. If you notice, you know, proper grammar. It's almost like it's very carefully typed, and rightly so. You have 1.7 million people following you. So when you do this and you're consistently posting multiple times a day, and when I say multiple, I mean it's up there, probably like 20, 30 times a day, which is common for these types of profiles. You have to pay attention to your grammar, your punctuation, your verbiage, you know, she's consistent. Hardly ever see a mistake in the grammar. And again, these are little things I pay attention to. Unintentionally, it just, you know, this is how you read people as a private investigator. They tell you things without trying to. You can see right here, she made it fun. She spelled love a different way, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's not like it was a huge mistake. And let's go into some other examples. All right, here's a long one. Notice she has the apostrophe in front of. People don't get it the first time. Notice she has the apostrophe right in front of her S, which is, you know, a lot of people leave out when they're typing, whether it be text messages. So when you build these type of habits, you tend to take them with you when you're having regular conversations via text. And it's a good habit to build. So you have that proper punctuation, you have that proper grammar. And you may use little things like the Anderson, you know, the space between the comma. right here is kind of a mistake, I'm assuming, but you know, if you notice, these things aren't very common. It happens. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. It's careful. You can see the care put behind the verbiage that was typed. So in saying that, where is this? I gotta end. All right, we're stopped screen sharing so I can go to something else. All right. Sorry, guys, trying to pull this up. Sorry, guys. I'm having trouble pulling this message up, but I can do one better. I'll just read it. Give me a sec. Okay, so let's go back to this. Get back to the page. All right, so it starts off with hi fan. So I'm like, okay, I've been through this. This is officially the 4th time this person has reached out to me. I'm like, hello, how are you? What's your name and where are you from? So immediately asking for a name, there's no harm in asking for someone's name, except my name is clearly on my Instagram profile. Come on, let's have common sense. If you're talking to someone on Instagram, you already have a certain amount of information up there, like such as some people put what they do. Some people already have their name up there. Some people have emails or websites, whatever the case is, there's information up there. So when you have someone who's asking you those things, they either have no situational awareness, or I was going to say something else, but that would have been mean. Or they are trying to get real information from you. Give me a sec. All right, so what's your name and where are you from? So instead of giving my full name, because my full name is actually on my Instagram, I say, I'm Chris from Georgia. Didn't specify where. How old are you? 35. Have no reason to really lie about that, but I wasn't quite 35 yet. Then she goes in to ask me, are you married? So I beat around the bush. I don't answer any of these questions because she doesn't need to know, or this person doesn't need to know, because I already know it's a scam. So instead of answering that question, I go back to her first question, which I failed to answer, which is, how long have you been my fan? Which is, you know, earlier in the messages. So after she asked, how old am I? She asked, how long have you been my fan? And I say, I have no idea. I've seen your posts for years, but I'm not sure. And then she proceeds to ask, okay, well, we can have some private chat. Red flag right there. First, if you notice, this is exactly what's typed. Oh, okay, no punctuation. Well, no punctuation. We can have some private chat. Improper grammar. We can have a private chat. We can have, it could be anything else except we can have some private chat. This is going against the original Instagrammers' grammatical habits already right there. Now, I want to clarify, when you start looking through these things, you'll start to notice these certain habits. Hopefully after this, you'll start paying attention to it. But when you look at these things, you want to pay attention to what they're saying, because it also gives away where they may be from. So I'm already creating a profile for this scammer. I'm discovering what type of person this is, who it may be. And then, they proceed to say, well, I say, after she says, can we have some private chat? I say, this is a private chat, because we're messaging back and forth on Instagram. No one else can see it but me. And then she proceeds to ask if I have Google Hangouts, which is a red flag, which, if you don't know, if someone knows what they're doing on the other side, you can use Google Hangouts for multiple things. Then let's go back. There's multiple accounts. This is why I'm going back. This person has tried to reach out to me several times. Okay, then starts a new conversation. Hey, Chris, what are you doing? And I proceed to, I'm exhausted. I work a lot, which is not a lie. And then she says, I'm fine. It's me, Quimma. It's been a while. Where have you been? Ignoring you. But I didn't say that. Working hard, pretty much. This person constantly asks me, and I don't answer this, have you eaten? The exact question is, so have you eaten yet? And then they say, happy Palm Sunday. There's no grammar in any of this, no punctuation. It's just typed out. Words are misspelled. So like I said, I'm creating this profile, and this is something you can kind of pick up on. You can try it yourself. Look, you're not going to get it right away. You're not going to always be right. And I could very well be wrong about profiling this person, where they're from, who they might be. And it gets interesting, and it helps me kind of figure out what's going on. I'm a straightforward person, so I'm going to confront this individual soon and say, hey, this is what I believe. So this person then proceeds to ask, can I see what you really look like? And again, I'm on Instagram. You have access to my Instagram photos. It's public. So you can see what I obviously look like. So why would they're phishing for current pictures, which could possibly be used to maybe make a fake profile to gain the trust of someone else. So for those of you who do pay attention to me and listen to me out there, if someone sent you a message from a profile that had my photo, you may or may not think it's innocent, or you think, hey, I know this person and they wouldn't do anything to me. And you start, answering questions and blah, 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 blah. It's a red flag. A lot of people do this. I have caught several accounts on Facebook that have had my picture as the profile picture, and people are trying to act like me. I had it shut down that day. I wasn't having it. I do have several Facebooks, only 2 of them have anything to do with me. So going back to the dialogue, let's see. I'm talking about work, that I'm going to work, and this individual says, where are you gonna head to? Again, this isn't Quimma's grammatical habits. I'm not saying she'll never use the word gonna, But if you notice, if you look under those pictures, it's proper. It's carefully placed. And again, it's because you have a large social media following. You have to pay attention to these things. And honestly, that's how she talks too. If you pay attention to the videos where she's speaking, you can hear what she's saying. Then, when are you going to be less busy? Innocent question, no red flags there. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, there's no grammar. There's no punctuation. It's just a sentence typed out carelessly. And again, you think about the real person's habits and the scammer's habits. They're going to differ. It's unintentional. They think they're on board. They think they're right on the mark and they know what they're doing, because these scammers have been scamming for a long time, but they don't realize their habits are coming through these messages. Their normal grammatical habits are coming through, whether they try and change them or not. So I'm like, I'm not always in a good place to text. You may call me while I'm driving. Now, I did this for a reason. The reason I said you may call me while I'm driving is because I'm ready to out this person and call them on their shit. So I'm trying to get this person to prove to me who they really are. I need to hear this person's voice. And the next thing they say, talk to you some other time then. And then I proceed to say, you can't voice call. The excuse I get is it's raining and the service is kind of faulty. But still have, and this is exactly what she's saying, but still have to talk to you later, And then she puts a space and then question mark. Now, improper grammar, punctuation, finally put there. Now, this person is living in California. I checked the weather as soon as as soon as this person sent that message, I checked the weather in California. Sunny that day, no rain, nothing, no bad weather, beautiful, like it probably usually is. And I proceeded to say, it's sunny there. This person says, wow, that's nice. It's cold over there, trying to be a smart ass. Now, wasn't really cold. It was, a little nasty out, probably low 60s, which is not bad. It actually feels good. But so this is when I call this person out. I'm not going to read this entire message to you because it's really long. So what I profiled, this person, these aren't all the messages that I've showed you. There's more other accounts. This person consistently asked me, did you eat yet? What did you eat? Concerned about, am I eating? Which there's nothing wrong with that, but it starts to create a profile on this individual based on what region of the world they're from. So then the grammar, A is placed in certain spots where it shouldn't be. It's almost like the individual may be typing and trying to think and unintentionally puts A where it shouldn't be, or actually thinks this is where this belongs. This is how you properly speak, but it's not. So I came to the conclusion, this person is either of Hispanic, West African, or Asian heritage. After analyzing more of the conversation, let's think about who really cares. Now, before I go any further, I want to make this very clear for anybody watching. This doesn't mean this is where this isn't factual. Hey, this has to be where this person's from. There's always a possibility. This could be the real person. I'm not saying that it's impossible for someone to speak one way and then speak another when they're having personal conversations. It's totally possible. Now, the likelihood of this being the case is very low. So I'm saying that, after giving the person 2 chances to have a voice chat where I can hear the person's voice, and being given really poor excuses. And then, you know, all the grammatical errors, you know, the I'm losing my train of thought. The grammatical error, the punctuation errors. That's what I was looking for. And the type of questions that are usually asked, I kind of limited it down to an Asian heritage, because, and here's why I lean more that way. When I refused to respond to this person, I did give my number to this person so they could call me and do that voice chat, so I could in fact call them out. So immediately after going silent the first time, where I wouldn't reach back out because I was like, okay, well, you're obviously a scammer. So I didn't say anything. This person calls me. It was an Asian voice, Indian, and they proceeded to ask me if my name is what it is. And I said, yes. Click. They hung up on me immediately. I tried to call the number back. I knew what it was. I tried to call the number back and it was no longer in service. So it was someone phishing for that information. They're phishing. It's a phishing scam. And then immediately after that, messages started coming in from this individual. So I knew, I was like, man, that's too much of a coincidence. Is it possible it was something else? Absolutely, but unlikely. It's possible, but not probable. This person is trying to fish for information. So with a constant concern of, hey, did you eat? Did you do this? Or, you know, I'll do this for you, or whatnot. This person is kind of portraying an ideology they have as well. And it kind of shows, hey, my ideology about women should be, they should always be concerned about whether you eat or not. Now, could it be a woman? Yes, but I have reason to believe that it's actually a man trying to act as a woman, making you think, you know, this is a woman that could care about what's going on in your life, trying to entice you to, or coerce you into giving information over time. It's like a long scam. They take the time needed to gain all the information. They think it can build a relationship with you, which sadly happens to people. And eventually they get the information they need and you're in a situation that you can't get out of, or it's going to take a long time to get out of. So again, this individual, you know, is still trying to reach out to me and message me, but I've called them out. I say, here's why I think that you're a scammer. And I laid it out and all they did was laugh and it was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, really. And then I proceeded to say, hey, can you prove me otherwise? And they said yes, and still have yet to prove it to me. Now, again, is it possible this could really be the individual? Yeah, it's possible. However, again, not probable, very unlikely, because what does this person have to do with me? Totally separate lives, has their own thing going on. They're too busy to be reaching out to individual fans. And considering the amount of people that are creeps on that social media platform, that follow her, man, I think it'd honestly be kind of stupid to reach out to your fans, because some of them just as bad as scammers. So you have to really be careful when you're on these social media platforms. So if you have someone that you like or you follow on social media that reaches out to you, you really, really, really need to be careful. It's it's too easy to fall into a trap. You just got to know what you're looking for. So, you know, whether you're an adult like me that, you know, dabbles on social media a little bit, you know, You still have to be careful, or your kids. If your kids are on social media, you have to pay attention to that shit. You have to pay attention to it. You actually should probably follow them and make sure they're not doing what they're, not supposed to. You need to make sure they're not talking to someone who's trying to fish for that information, because these kids, they're still building their lives. They're still in school. They don't have any credit. And all it takes is for someone to fill their head with crap and say, hey, I can do this for you. You'll be successful by the time you get out of high school. You'll have all this money, blah, blah, blah. I can help you come out differently than everybody else. And then they gain access to their social, and before you know it, they ruin their lives before they even have a chance to have one, which is why it's important. You need to make sure you're not giving people or game platforms information that you shouldn't be, even if it's a simple and innocent question. Hey, how many siblings do you have? Okay, I'm not saying it's wrong to answer how many siblings you have, but think about what that information could be used for. So on the Human Trafficking Response Team Facebook page, there was a post a while back, it's been a long time, that reached millions and millions of people. I think it was created by the police department in, I want to say, Virginia. But really, really good post. We shared it, and it showed bumper stickers all over the back of the vehicle. If some of you have been following us for a while, you know what I'm talking about. And a lot of people got upset. I was like, now we can't have bumper stickers on the back of our car. No, that's not what I'm saying. So those bumper stickers tell predators, whether it be a human trafficker, whether it be someone who just means them harm in any way or wants to take something from you, well, they can get information from basic little stickers like, hey, this is what school they go to. This is how many people you have in your family. This is what you have. Oh, they have a dog. They can use so many avenues to barge into your life. So you really want to be careful with that. What people are saying is they see this and they're like, oh, so you're telling us we can't have bumper stickers in our vehicle. Again, no, that's not what we're saying. We're saying this is the information predators are getting from your vehicle when you do it, but we just need you to understand that. We need you to know what predators are getting from you when you put that bumper sticker on your vehicle. But you can continue to do it all you want. There's nothing wrong with it. You shouldn't have to put your life on hold for bad people, but you need to be aware of it. If you're alert and aware of what's going on, you may be able to take those extra measures to keep it from happening. Whether it be, minimize who can see something, or put restrictions on things, or where you put, I don't know. Look, there's so many different things you can do to prevent it, or maybe take those extra measures at home to teach your children and your family, your loved ones, on how to respond to a situation that derived from, a predator getting information from you. Okay, well, the predator got the information. What do we do now? You need to rehearse this with your family, your loved ones, because, if you're not ready for it, then, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're doing all these things and going about your life with no concern about what's going on in the outside world. And it kind of hurts you. Let me go back to this. I'm sorry. All right. So you got all these things going on in the outside world. You have no concern about it. So when you don't pay attention to these things, you kind of fall into people's traps more and more and more. And that goes for those games. Like, I would get on here and probably play one real quick to show you, but I really don't want to. I don't trust them. But people do them all the time. You see it. A lot of people, punch in personal information. Hey, what's your family's name? Where are they from? What part of this do you live in? Or do you live in a house? Do you rent? Do you have an apartment? Do you, what are your habits? What do you like to eat? What's your favorite foods? all these things can be used as information. So why is the director of the human trafficking response team telling you about phishing scams? Well, once a predator gets your information, there's multiple things they can do with it. They can either use it for their own benefit, they can sell it to other predators, or they can just outright use it to harm you. Now, human traffickers are most of the time these predators. They're looking for information that they can use to maybe abduct you or get one of your loved ones, or it's not just about stealing finances from you. Yeah, it happens a lot, but when a predator gets the information they're looking for on you, the sky's the limit with what they can do with it. They can do so many things. It's pretty sad. It shouldn't be like this, but that's the reality, and you need to be aware of this reality, because you know, when you do share this information, you're not just putting yourself in danger, you're putting your loved ones in danger. Because when you do answer those questions, hey, this is my father's name, this is my mother's name, you just now gave that predator information about someone you care about. And if the scam doesn't work with you, they can just go after your loved one. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not trying to say, again, you can't, I'm not saying don't play these games, don't talk to people, don't tell them information. If you're trying to date, by all means date. They have the right to know information about you, but when you tell them is up to you. It's absolutely fine. You can minimize what people know and dictate when they know it. But just bear in mind, like if you're doing something like dating, some people get really offended when you don't tell them things up front right away, which is understandable. But also, if you're on the other side, be mindful that, you know, people have been through different things in their life, and those situations can dictate how they proceed in the future. So you want to be careful on what you push those people on, because you could be, you know, hurting the situation more than helping. So just, you know, sometimes you have to be patient. You can say things like, hey, you know, I really want to know this information. I understand you're not ready to tell me, but I think it's important that you eventually get there and we talk about it. You know, there's different ways to handle things, but when you're on social media, you need to be aware of what predators get. So when you're playing these games, when you're talking to people, when you're having innocent conversations, there's nothing wrong with that. Just be aware of what they could do with the information that you give. It's really that simple. And if you need to know, like, hey, what do I do once they have it? Well, I mean, I'm not saying go overboard and don't overdo it and be like, oh, I got to do this now, I got to lock this down, I got to change everything, blah blah blah. No, it's serious, but it's not that serious. Look, if a situation arises, handle it. Don't live your life being stressed out like, oh, this could happen, that could happen. Handle it as it comes. Go with the flow of life. You know, you need to teach yourself how to handle a situation. If you're in a bad situation and you're like, oh, you know, why is this happening to me? It's a learning experience. You now know what not to do next time, or you now know how to handle it if it ever happens again, or before it happens again. But the goal is to minimize the ability to be in those situations that you don't want to be in. Let's see. Let's see if there's questions real quick. I don't see very many comments, which is okay, I guess. All right. But is there any questions so far before I continue? I'm pretty long-winded. There's like a huge lag between the Zoom and the Facebook Live. And it's really interesting to watch. It's kind of like watching one of those movies where your sound is coming out, but your mouth moves at a different you know, pace. from the sound. So it's entertaining. Okay, look, I don't see any questions coming through, but hey, look, to prevent yourself from being in these situations, I recommend you being alert about what information you're giving. I'm not saying don't do anything. You have to have a life. But you need to understand what information you're putting out there in the world. So when you get into that situation, if you need help identifying if this person is real or not, there's nothing wrong with it. All you got to do is ask for help. Because you know, some people can't pick out those things for themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is if you're in a situation that you know you may need help with, and you don't ask for that help to begin with, because the deeper you get into it, the harder it is going to be to get out of it. So you want to attack that problem. Let me rephrase that. You want to handle that problem before it gets too serious. You definitely want to be alert to the information, but don't be over the top with who you give it to. You know, a lot of people are really strict, like, hey, I don't want to give anybody this, or this, and then they can't have relationships with other people, whether it be friendships, partnerships, and you know, work, or actual full-on, you know, relationships, marriages. But you definitely want to be careful with that. Now, like I said, social media platform that I shared, her name is Quima Russo. Very popular, very informative. You're more than welcome to go follow her. And I intend to do more videos like this in the future. But you got to be really careful with who you're following on social media too. Like, as soon as you follow a person, you're a new follower, and those scammers are watching and they see it happen, they're coming after you. Just be aware of that. It's going to happen. They're going to reach out to you. But you can also reach out to me as well if you need help. As far as like computer hacking goes, or cracking, there's a difference. You know, you can also reach out to me. I have people that I can reach out to as well that actually have a license in dealing with stuff like that, because yes, believe it or not, in the IT field, there are individual licenses you need to be able to do certain things legally. Now, just because you know how to do it doesn't mean you should. But you know, there's different things you can do to protect yourself, and asking for help is one of those. So don't be afraid to do it, and make sure you're protecting yourself and your loved ones first before anything else. You can also follow me on social media as well. I don't really post too much on the Human Trafficking Response Team page like I want to. I'm always at work, and my personal life and my business life should not be shared on a work page. You know, when it comes to human trafficking, yes, I'll share things on the Human Trafficking Response Team page, but you're more than welcome to follow me. Facebook has a limit of 5,000 friends. I'm almost there. You can follow me on Facebook as well. And you can follow me on Instagram at Christopher_Levine. And I'm there. I feel like I'm forgetting something that I wanted to talk about with this video. And if I do, or I did, I will share another video later and discuss it. But if you have any questions, reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer them. There's other people who can talk to you as well. Just make sure you're protecting yourself and your loved ones. Don't give in to these scams. It's nothing good's going to come out of it. Nothing. All right, look, y'all have a wonderful night. I've spoken a lot. I'm really long with this. Has been going on for like an hour now. So y'all have a wonderful night, and I'll hopefully talk to y'all soon.